Hi guys, welcome to this page of the notes, and again what we're doing is we're taking a look at how to find the interior measure of polygons based on what we know about the interior measure of triangles. So let's just jump right into these with a few example problems. I've given you a polygon right here, and what you can see is that one of the measure of the interior angles, right, is missing. I've given you a variable, and I've asked you to determine the unknown angle. I want to know, what is the measure of that missing angle? So let's jump right into this using what we looked at on the previous pages of the notes. Here we go. Two ways to do this. I don't care which way you do it, so I'll do it both ways for you. You can either use our equation. Remember, the equation is n minus 2 times 180. Okay? N is the number of sides, right? So let's count them up. I'm going to start right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I plug in a 9 minus 2 times 180. 9 minus 2 is 7 times 180. Well, 7 times 180, I get 1,260 degrees. Here's what I know. I know if I add up 135, 98, 102, 104, 200, 172, 130, 125 plus whatever this guy is, I had better get 1,260 degrees, right? The interior angles of this polygon must sum to 1,260 degrees. The other way to do this one is triangles, which is why I picked a vertice. Now remember, in order to draw the triangles, we're about to do the exact same thing, right? This is one way to find it. Here's the other way. Pick a vertice. Skip the vertices exactly next to it. So I'm going to skip this vertice, and I'm going to skip this vertice. I'm going to draw triangles to the rest of them. So I skip this one, so my first triangle is going to go to the one right next to it. There's that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and skip that guy. Now all you need to do, right, is count up how many triangles are now inside my object. Should be no surprise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 triangles. So all you need to do then, right, is 7 triangles. I know the interior angles of a triangle have to sum to 180 degrees. So 7 times 180, once again, 1,260 degrees. The point is this: I don't care which way you do it. Count the number of sides, use the equation. Or draw the triangles inside the polygon, count the number of triangles, multiply by 180, get the interior measure. Either way, you get the same answer. I don't care which way you do it. Now, how do I find the value of x? Let me go ahead and erase these guys so we can see the angle measures we've already got. Actually, at this point, should be a fairly simple algebra problem. I know all of the angles must sum. That means add to 1,260. So what are you going to do? Add them up. Let me make sure I got plenty of space to do this. Actually, here, I'm going to have to erase this so that I don't squeeze too bad. That's okay. We've got it written over here too, so we're good. All right, so my first one, 135 degrees plus 98 degrees plus 102 degrees plus 140 degrees plus 200 degrees, plus 172 degrees, plus 130 degrees, okay, plus, sorry, so I don't have to squeeze, I'm going to drop down here, plus 125 degrees, plus, there's my x, plus x. Now, when I add together all of those angles, what does it need to sum to? Got to sum to 1,260. Fantastic. Well, this isn't that bad. Grab yourself a calculator. 135 plus 98 plus 102 plus 140 plus 200 plus 172 plus 130 plus 125 all adds to 1,102 degrees plus x is equal to 1,260 degrees. Guys, maybe the easiest algebra problem to solve ever. Subtract 1,102 degrees to the other side. 1,260 minus 1,102. X is, I get 158 degrees. And I answered my question. I wanted to know what is the value of x, and we found the value of x. Very, very simple, guys. All you have to do, you have two ways of doing it. Either use the formula or draw the triangles. Either way, find the sum of the interior angles. Once you know the sum of the interior angles, add up all the angles that you know, find the one that you don't. Let's try it a couple more times just to make sure that you guys understand how this works. Here we go. Let me erase this so that I have plenty of space, and we do this one. Okay. Let's see. Okay, look at this. Here's what I know. I know, right? X degrees, x degrees. What does that mean? It means they're the exact same measure. Okay, so here we go. 90, 90, 90, that's what the little box means. In fact, if you want to, go ahead and write it in there, right? I know that that's 90, 90, 90. That's fine. Write it in there. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my formula. So, n minus 2 multiplied by 180. What's n? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So n is 5. 5 minus 2 times 180. 3 times 180. What is 3 times 180? 540 degrees. Here's what I know. This angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle must sum to 540 degrees. So do it. 90 plus 90 plus 90, 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus x plus x has to be equal to what? Well, it has to be equal to 540. Has to be. Do a little bit of algebra. 90 plus 90 plus 90, I get 270. 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 270. Oh, sorry, let me put 270 degrees. And then, real simple, right? What is x plus x? X plus x, 2x. Again, an algebra problem? Yes. But not too terribly difficult. I need to solve for x, so subtract 270 to the other side. 2x is equal to 540 degrees minus 270 degrees. So I get 2x is equal to 270 degrees. Divide both sides by 2. X has to be 135 degrees. So both of those angles must be 135 degrees. All right, guys, hopefully at this point you're really sort of getting the hang of these and how they go. Find the sum of the interior angles one of two ways. Either use the formula or draw the triangles. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 triangles. No surprise. Shouldn't surprise you, right? 3 triangles, every triangle, the interior angles sum to 180. So 3 times 180, exactly what we did here, you get 540 degrees. Either way, use the formula or draw the triangles, you'll get the same answer. either way. The interior angles of this polygon must sum to 540. I got another one here. Let's try it. Erase that stuff so I'm not squeezing. And here we go. Next diagram. Okay, I asked you to find the missing angles, X, Y, and Z. Now this one probably looks a little complicated. I promise you it's not. Let me do it this way. Feel free to do this. If you have, in your notes, absolutely bring highlighters with you, stuff like that, so you can highlight the stuff I highlight. Let me do these triangles in different colors. I've got this one right here in blue. Right? So this triangle in blue has angles of 80, 55, and Y. Right? 80, 55, and Y. Those are the angles of the blue triangle. Well, I know that 80 plus 55 plus Y, it's a triangle. What do those three angles have to sum to? They have to sum to 180 degrees. Well, 80 plus 55, I get 135. Equal to 180. Subtract the 135 to the other side, I get Y is equal to 45 degrees. So I know that Y is equal to 45 degrees. Keep going. Let me do this triangle in green. Right? Well, what are the angles of the triangle in green? I have 60, I have 100, and X. They have to sum to 180. So, 100 degrees plus 60 degrees plus X. Those three angles must sum to 180. 160. Again, not really terribly complicated algebra problems, right? This is really pretty basic algebra 1, actually. Subtract the 160 to the other side. Should get 20 degrees. Well, guys, here's the beautiful thing. I now know that X is 20. I know that Y is 45. One last triangle. This one. In fact, yellow might be a little hard to see. Let me do it in red. This one right here. What are the interior angles of that triangle in red? Well, the interior angles are X, which I already know, Y, which I already know, and Z, which I don't know. No problem. I know that that triangle in red is X plus Y plus Z. It's a triangle, so it has to sum to what? It's got to sum to 180 degrees. Plug in what we know. I know X is 20. I know that Y is 45. Sorry, that 4 might look like a 9 and I don't want it to. 45. Great. Add them together. 45, 55, so how about 65? Apologize, I'm squeezing onto my next guy here, but it's the last step. Subtract 65 to the other side, and we get Z is equal to 180 minus 65 is simply going to be 115 degrees. And that's it. You did it. You found all three variables by first recognizing you have a triangle, which allows you to find Y, recognizing you have a second triangle, which allows you to find X, and then once you know X and Y, you have a third triangle, which lets you find Z, right? Really not too terribly bad. If using highlighters helps you to highlight those different triangles, please feel free to do so. I got one more for us here before we try something else. Let me go ahead again and erase a little bit of this so I'm not having to squeeze too terribly bad here. And slide this guy on up. Okay, here's what we've got. Again, I want you to find the missing angle right there, W. I need to know what W is. So let's just jump right into this and see what we've got. Of course, any information from previous sections could be very helpful, and in fact, it is. Please notice I have intersecting lines. So what do I know about this angle right here and the angle opposite? Yeah, thanks to vertical angles, I know that those guys have to be the same. 78 degrees, thanks to vertical angles. They have to be the same. 78 and 78. They're vertical angles, they must be congruent. They must be congruent. Well, guys, you're practically there. You're almost done. Check this out. This guy right here is a straight line, right? That's a line. So what do you know about 54, 78, and W? What do those three angles have to sum to? Hint, they make a straight line. 180 degrees. So here we go. 54 plus 78 plus W, I don't know, equals 180. Okay, great, here we go. 54 plus 78, I get 132 degrees, plus W is equal to 180. Again, fairly simple algebra problem. Subtract the 132 to the other side, and W is equal to 48 degrees. Again, how did I do that? Real simple. I pull on previous knowledge about vertical angles, which I've got, and actually that's not my only pair of vertical angles. Check this out. 54 is also vertical angles with this guy. So I know that these guys are congruent. This one has to be 54. And check this out. Now that I know that W is equal to 48 degrees, look at this. I know that these two guys are vertical angles, and so that this one must also be 48 degrees. And even though I didn't ask you to do so, look at what you just did. You just solved that entire diagram. You now know every angle measure, which actually probably will wind up being some sort of test question. I give you the diagram, and I just ask you to find everything, right? Which you can easily do using vertical angles and what you know about a linear pair. Well, guys, that takes care of everything on this page of the notes. Head on over to the next page of the notes, and what we'll do is now take a look at the exterior angles of a triangle, right? We just got done talking about the interior angles and the relationship between interior angles of triangles. Next page of the notes, we'll take a look at the exterior angles. I'll meet you there.